Ondo State, the APC leaders joined PDP, citing internal democracy. Ahead of the November 16th governorship elections in Ondo State, over 1,000 leaders and members of the ruling All Progressive Congress defected to the opposition People's Democratic Party. They cited lack of internal democracy within the APC and criticized the party for causing hardship and hunger in the state. The defectors, including prominent local leaders, expressed support for PDP's governorship candidate, Honorable Agbola Ajayi, pledging to work towards the rebuilding of the state if elected. PDP leadership welcomed the defectors, promising equal treatment and emphasizing their commitment to state development if victorious in the upcoming elections. Yes, sir. The stage has been set already for upcoming elections in Ondo State, sir.
Yes.
There were some issues concerning the leadership of the party and the candidates of the All Progressive Congress after the passing away of the former governor, the late governor, Akeredolu. And Ayedatiwa, the deputy, happened to present himself against the wishes of even the family of the late governor. And now we are seeing a situation where about 1,000 or more than 1,000, over 1,000 leaders and members of the APC being a stronghold of the present president. Present president has done so much to make sure of the universal nature of the APC in the Southwest, at least. And this is a state that he is deeply invested in because of late Akeredolu being his protege. And having 1,000 people, over 1,000 people leave the APC, does this spell doom for the APC in Ondo State, sir?
I would say that it is good for democracy. It is good for democracy because if you cannot have the revolution from outside, the revolution from inside is still a revolution.
Yeah.
And once you have an atmosphere where people are free to express their will and have some kind of act in ways that put a check on those who are in power, it is good for democracy.
Right.
Now, whatever happens in the elections, but the party would have this in their history, that their actions at some point or inactions cause people to defect in this number. At least they are enjoying some good level of tension and anxiety now.
Exactly.
And so they become mindful next time in making sure that everybody is on the board and that issues are done properly. So you don't give such number of people the opportunity to create a tension for the party in this kind of manner. And why I said it's good for democracy too is that the reasons that they gave, we saw what happened before the last general elections in terms of internal democracy all over the country, in all the parties, especially with the two leading political parties. The nature and the manner of the conventions that they had. And you cannot talk about democracy being entrenched and being stabilized in a developing country like ours if you ignore internal democracy. You cannot have a dictatorship at the base and have democracy at the top and call it democracy. Because the absence of democracy within the party is actually some form of dictatorship. Yes, you impose candidates that you now give to the rest of the country to choose. That is if we actually do the choosing. So whatever shakes the table and opens up the space and gives people the opportunity to make the decisions, because that's what democracy is supposed to be. It's good for our democracy. Now, as to whether the deputy governor came out, whether the family of the ex-governor favored his coming out or not, is for me very secondary.
Okay.
If the family is so entrenched and feels they have a pride of place, and they are not happy with the deputy, let them present another candidate and see if the candidate flies. But the other side of it is that constitutionally, a deputy is actually there elected with this person, that if anything happens to the governor, the deputy comes in. But people just carry on like the deputy is just there for just being deputy. And when the governor is no longer there, any other person can be brought and imposed, as if the deputy is not a human being, has no choice, and cannot aspire. The internal circumstances is different, but I'm just speaking on the basis of the general principles.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, concerning the choice of candidates in any political party.
Yes.
I know there's a direct method, and there's the indirect method using delegates.
Yes.
Which do you propose that Nigerians should adopt to ensure that there is internal democracy in each of the parties that present candidates, sir? So in order to forestall such reasons to make such large group of people decamp from one party to another. I know we are not yet ideological, but at least in selection of the candidates for the different parties, should we adopt the direct or we go ahead with the indirect?
Now, it depends on the particular offices being vied for.
Okay.
And also it depends on a whole lot of other things, logistics and all that.
Okay.
And the party constitution too. In fact, most parties allow for those options. So direct election would be the preferred option. But if you don't have direct election and you're also using delegate system, if the delegate system is allowed to be transparent, it will still produce an outcome that will be very close, if not the same with the direct election. Why do I say that? Okay. If you allow delegates to be properly elected, that at the base, there is contest, they know why they were being elected, the people at the localities know those who have the capacity to stand straight and speak their mind. And if those people are elected and they now go up to elect, being conscious of what they were sent for, the outcomes might not be too different from what a direct election might produce. But the parties sometimes look at the cost and logistics and all that, and then opt for that delegate system. Sometimes, too, the delegate system just makes it very easy for the process to be hijacked by money bags because you have fewer people to pay and to control. It is easier for your permutations to work out exactly the way you want it. But the people are the core. If the people are informed and they are involved enough in the politics, if they elect, the process is corrupted and they don't have the preferred candidate within the party. We have seen that happen so many times where the party members vote against the candidate of their party because the wrong candidate was imposed on them. They say, okay, you can have your way at the party level, but you cannot control my vote in the general elections. And the party also need to be conscious of that. Okay. Now, if ultimately the votes count, and you know that these persons have the liberty, they can vote against the candidate imposed on them in the local, then you will have to be careful with making sure that their choices are preserved. Okay, sir. So that is how the whole system works. Okay, sir.
But juxtaposing it with what was tenable here in River State, concerning the emergence of Siminalayi Fubara as the candidate of the PDP, there were running battles between the former governor and some other political stakeholders from all different corners of the state concerning his Siminalayi Fubara's emergence and all that. Was it because of the method of choosing Siminalayi Fubara, or was it because they felt it was an imposition?
You're talking about the PDP now?
Yes, sir.
Or with respect to the whole election?
No,
the emergence of...
yes, within the PDP. Because the crisis in the state is within the PDP.
Yes.
So I'm saying that there were issues with some stakeholders and the former governor because of the emergence of Siminalayi Fubara. Was it because it was an indirect mode of selecting the party candidate?
No, but this crisis has nothing to do with how Siminalayi emerged. It is more about the politics or the influence peddling between the former governor and the current governor.
Yeah, the former governor feels that he had imputed so much in
Yes,
about the emergency.
yes, and he has said it publicly, he has said it several times.
Exactly.
His supporters also insist that's more like similarly his investment, so to say. And then he has, but that is part of the vanity that we should begin to be mindful of. You're dealing with an entire state, you're dealing with a full-blown grown man, and you think you have all what it takes to hoodwink everybody and have your way at all costs. This is part of the example that shows that it doesn't always work the way we think. And this is part of why I think that maybe this crisis is even a blessing in disguise for Rivers people. If they have been working together and agreed from the beginning, and similarly does everything that the governor expects, this state will be in trouble. This state would have been losing a whole lot to the interest of very small people, very few people. But with this crisis, for one area that is very clear, very evident now, imagine that the IGR in the states used to be about 12 billion. And now that IGR is about 26.
We have proof of facts to that effect.
The governor said so.
That's his say so.
No, that is the sitting governor. He was a former accountant general in the state. And we should believe his word. Have anybody countered it?
We need facts, sir.
Nobody have countered it now.
Let's work with facts, sir.
And then, look. It benefits the state because if their fight is now making issues that most people will not know about, the governance, leadership roles, opportunities to come out more. But what we are saying, and sometimes it is normal in a democracy, but they have to be careful to know when not to cross the line, when not to take their agitations and differences to a level where it generates conflict in the society and begin to plunge the state needlessly into tension. That is it.
Okay, sir, but if in this same course of actions, and similarly is due to also hand over to a new governor when the time comes, and he adopts the same pattern of choosing his candidate, is he not going to still be an effective godfather too, to want to impose his own will just as it is?
But he's in the best position to know that that pattern is a close. There's no road there. Where has it worked? Except Lagos State and the conditions under which it has worked. The Lagos dynamics is somewhat different from most of these other states. The ethnic factor, for instance, and all that. And nobody knows the costs of that kind of arrangement in Lagos, the price that they are paying and the cost of it. But he should learn from history, learn from his experience to know that there is no assurance in that charade. There's no assurance.
So he cannot impose a candidate and expect things to change?
You do not impose a candidate and expect that after you have left, you'll be a godfather. Even your own son. If you bring your own son into governance in that manner and expect that you have a puppet that you can control at will when you're not in power yourself, you might get the shock of your own life. Your own son, not to talk about any other person.
Sir, in choosing the caretaker committee chairman, don't you think it was for those who are vociferous in the attack against the FCT minister that were chosen to fill in the positions of the...
You have moved from this side to another matter altogether now. Appointing caretaker committee chairman, especially any form of appointment under a democracy, the governor will, or whoever is the appointing officer, will look for people that share his views about leadership, that will work with him. So in a state of crisis, for instance, like this, one sure thing is that you're not going to pick anybody that is likely going to be working against you, that has sympathy for the opposition. Nobody will do that. That you will use them or recruit them as active partisans and foot soldiers is a secondary matter. But you will want to be sure, for instance, that you're not appointing anybody that has serious affiliation with the opposition. Nobody will empower his enemy, somebody that he perceives as an enemy.
Oh.
Because the person will not even work with you in the first place, might become a snitch, or might be somebody that will corrupt your own system. The least they can do.
I was thinking he will go into the level of finding a way of mediation, of placation, of trying to merge both cliques, instead of creating a clean, straight dichotomy.
In the heat of this crisis, maybe appoint half of the people that...
So that's where the test of leadership comes
No,
in.
no. Not in the Nigerian setting. Not in the Nigerian setting. No. It would have been shocking if he should do that.
Wow.
No, it would have been shocking. There are a lot of Rivers people, a lot of good minds that are not involved with the crisis. That should be the place to go. You cannot just go to an active partisan, somebody that is working actively against you, and pick somebody from there. Not that the person lost the election and said, okay, let there be peace, but the person is working actively to derail your regime, and you bring the person inside. Who does that? But there are a lot of other people that are not deeply involved, that are neutral, that are serious-minded Rivers people, that when given the opportunity, they will be, they are dispassionate enough to handle governance with serious sense of responsibility. And I mean, there is no lack of the people to handle such positions.